That resolution that was just approved, you'll see some of those line items there in front of you.
That's one.
And that spells it out in that resolution, what he's authorized to do. Y'all give it approval.
Away from Heritage Park, I called that EOC about a tree limb over a street on Lyle Street. That tree limb is still hanging over Lyle. I can't get it down.
6, yeah, and there's one which I spoke to you about on, what is that? Not Johnson. 6 in Lewis, I believe. 6 in Lewis. The tree is just barely hanging over the street. So none of those trees have been taken care of. And I think I even sent the picture. So those types of things, when we talk about being dangerous to the public, somebody could drive by and that tree just falls because it's just being held up by another leaning tree. So those.
Yeah, this one can too, because I went and looked at it. One of those groups that came in to help us trimmed everything back that they could safely trim back, and then had her call me, the lady called me and asked me what to do, so I called EOC, and they said, you know, they're going to, whatever's going to take care of it, but that's been, what, 2 weeks, a week, 2 weeks, still hanging over that road. A lot of traffic on that road too.
Yeah, there are several trees throughout the city that is in a precarious position that needs to be taken care of.
And back to where we're saying that these people that came in to help us, okay, with these big old black truck things, and I appreciate them. I appreciate them. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm just saying, I heard the governor out of his own mouth say they sent these people to help us. What does the word help mean? You know, and he said, they're supposed to go in here, and he specifically said, we were supposed to be helping them do the job. That's what help meant. He said that out of his own mouth.
Last year, I got an email from the EOC that basically said, sit down and shut up and we'll make it happen.
Well,
Okay?
they didn't this
So
time.
that's exactly how they look at it.
Mhm.
We've got no say-so in the debris cleanup.
But the governors,
I understand what the governor said.
I
so
listened to him
it's
twice,
between
because
the
I want to be
governor
sure I heard
and
it.
the state and the DOT. And I hate it because I like to get things done.
Yeah, we
I don't
want it
understand
done.
how to walk.
We want it done. I drug my stuff off to the backyard, off the side road.
All right, any more comments, questions concerning item 6B? All right, item 6C, this will be a presentation by the Integrity Group to provide recovery management services. Yes, sir.
Go to them.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I turned it on. Is that better?
Hello?
There we go. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bob Scott. I'm with the Integrity Group, and my upper echelon, they're focused on Milton as well, so they made some notes for me to read to y'all, and then I can answer any questions y'all have. I appreciate the opportunity to briefly discuss our ability to support the city in all of your disaster recovery needs, including recent hurricanes and the impact you may feel from Hurricane Milton, which we hope will be minimal, of course. I provided you all with the documents that provides an overview of our firm. It summarizes our significant success in helping clients in the area of FEMA, HUD, and other disaster recovery funding programs. This document includes references. We will demonstrate our focus on clients and maximum funding. Document also includes our proposed proposal approach for Live Oak, from immediate mobilization to comprehensive damage assessment to project/grant formulation and to pursue the reimbursement through FDEM to final reconciliation and close of all projects. And here are some key points for your consideration. We have a proven history of success. Over the past 14 years, we've pursued, managed, and closed out FEMA and HUD projects totaling over $4.8 billion. Frankly, our team is usually far more experienced than the FEMA staff deployed. We know FEMA process better than many of their people. Our focus is on Florida. We are either native Floridians or longtime residents. We are not Beltway bandits. I thought that was funny. That's swoop in to maximize the profits and leave. We have long-term positive relations with our clients. We may be the only firm in this business that has never had a FEMA project developed, clawed back by FEMA or HUD. We focus on 100% compliance and top quality work. Many of our leaders are former state inspector general and investigators who are knowledgeable about full compliance, ethics, and cost efficiency in what we do. Over the past 3 or 4 years, we have been called into local communities that were victimized by poor quality work from other companies. In all of those cases, we have identified and secured significantly more funding than they deserve, millions more. A unique program, we have focused on damage assessment. As you know, the key to securing maximum funding is damage assessment. Live Oak needs to own and control these assessments. Our team has a technology and FEMA-approved software to identify all the damages, even damage that may not be visible, in the initial weeks after an impact. We're proud that FEMA damage assessors typically love to take work that we complete for our clients, and essentially we do a good job that makes their job easier. More importantly, we produce is very good for our clients. And as you all know, insurance companies in general love to collect premiums and aren't too crazy about paying claims. Our registered and true independent insurance adjusters / professionals will work with the city to maximize the claims filed. In fact, our guys are typically at least double or triple the settlement amount offered by the carrier. The minimum insurance is great because it happens much faster, maximum insurance is great because it happens much faster than waiting on complex and bureaucratic FEMA and HUD process and doesn't require a 12.5% local match. You have a deductible, but our damage assessment tends to more than cover that requirement. We have a relationship with FDEM in Tallahassee. Our office is 15 minutes away. They are key to full and timely reimbursements. And finally, let me say this time is really of essence. We want to help the city build a recovery plan that is comprehensive, high quality, full compliant, and customized to the needs of Live Oak. We also have provided you with an exigent contract, which is 100% compliant with FEMA guidelines, will enable us to begin work immediately. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. So that was the presentation he gave to me. Y'all have any questions on this?
So what, now you're talking about all the citizens in this county and city, or just?
Well, we can do that, but FEMA IA will set up for that, and they're going to be deploying to Tallahassee this Thursday. I used to work for FEMA, so I got friends, that's what they're doing. They're holding off because they don't know the direct path of Milton at this point. But
I'm not talking about the Milton, I'm talking-
this one here, we're talking about public assistance. So basically the city and counties, things along those lines.
And the residents?
Some of the things with the residents, for example, you were talking about the debris going down and the state coming through on that, we can assist with that as well, make sure that's done correctly. But individual homes and that's called IA, it's individual assistance. That's a FEMA process. We can assist with that as well. But what we focused on here was the city, the public assistance at this point. But we can do that as well. Yes, sir.
City funds this here, off hourly rates?
I'm sorry?
The city funds you guys, or is this a reimbursement project?
This all go, so what happens with FEMA when there's a project, what they do now is they write all your project, Cat A, B, C, and all that through G, and then there's a Cat Z on the end. That's for what we do, it's direct administrative costs. So that is written up separately on the end. So it comes directly from FEMA, should come out of your funds.
Is this a cost factor to us having you, your company or your group?
It should, because what it is as you get a declaration, a FEMA declaration like you did with the past disasters, they write something called a Cat Z project, and that's where the reimbursement comes out of.
So what's the turnaround, recovery for, we still got money hanging from FEMA and everybody else 2 years ago? what's the recovery rate? How fast can you all work to get reimbursement?
That's something we do quick. So first of all, what happens right now, the state of Florida is declaring the declaration, and they're doing that. So that's FDEM in Tallahassee does that. When it gets to a certain dollar figure, used to be 25 million or 3.25, then they ask for FEMA assistance, then FEMA comes in after that. So the process right now is we have a declaration from, actually, they declared this disaster, so the process has begun. So the next thing's going to happen is you're going to have FEMA and your coordinator, whoever's going to do it, go out and assess the damage done. Debris is Cat A, B is emergency protective, C, all those kind of things, and all this is done. And so that's when you figure out what the dollar figure is for the repairs being done here. After all that's written, FEMA goes in and they take it, and the new regulation is 5% is added on the end for direct administrative costs. So we don't get paid until after everything else is done.
So, I'm just trying to,
Yes, sir.
what we got going on now, with FEMA and all that,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to figure out what benefits we're gonna have if it's, pretty much go with this group you got. What benefit? How's it gonna benefit this city, this county?
Well, the first thing, if you have us involved with the other two disasters, we'll start going after that to find out what's going on. And there's a new process now. Have you heard about the FROC program?
Explain.
Yeah, that's something that came out. So what our governor did, FEMA's been dragging their feet for the last couple of years, actually more than a few years. Our governor and Kevin Guthrie came up with a really good idea, something called FROC, where you're getting everything in line beforehand so that when the disaster hits, you have all your proper documentation. That's the process they're doing. That's smart. So for example, if you have building damage or you have your lift stations or something like that, there's a process for all that. And that's what we know and we do, and we go in and help accelerate that process.
So there's a 5% cost just to have you do this?
That's
For
something,
us.
yeah, that's something that FEMA does. That's the Cat Z PW that's written on the very end. All the other ones are written first, and that's on the very end. So until we get you any money, we don't get any money.
Yeah, I heard that. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
Think about the lawyer I had. Yeah, I heard that. Anybody, I might have some other question. You guys got anything?
Essentially, you're a voice for the city.
I'm sorry, sir?
You're a voice and like a lobbyist of the city pretty much for FEMA to get you some great stuff in place.
That, plus we make sure the process are done. I used to work for DEM and I work for FEMA, so I know the proper way. I know what a Cat A is and how you get the documents together for that. Debris management, the truck certifications, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with the Cat B, with emergency protective measures and how the process works for all that. So we make sure it goes through the end, because until your projects are closed on the end, there's a liability out there. That's what we do, the whole process.
I went out and I was researching the company, and I see that you have several of the different arms on there, like lobbying. Also, you have where you infrastructure, that type of thing. So, how could you tie some of that in with this project, or this is just something completely just going after the FEMA dollars or the storm dollars?
Basically, we pulled it all together. I did 20 years in the Air Force. After I retired, I actually worked for DOT. I managed 3 counties for DOT, so I know their whole process. And that's when Dennis and Ivan came through. Y'all remember those disasters? That's when I switched over to FDEM, because that process to make sure things were done. Because if we don't handle it correctly, your citizens are paying taxes or stuck with the bill on how to handle this. So we make sure that the stuff is done correctly. Like I said, right now you got DOT taking over your roads. They're going to do the debris. That's all part of the Cat B process. That's a reimbursable expense under FEMA as well. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yes, it does.
Thank you.
Can we ask questions? We cannot ask questions.
Further questions for Mr.
Give me out the department. I'll be happy to answer your question, man.
I can ask
You
you
know,
a
that's
question.
just,
Anything from,
Any further
thank you
questions?
very much.
All right, thank you, sir.
One other question, who is your competitor? Who's your competitor?
Oh, there's a bunch out there.
Right, but in Tallahassee, that's where your office is located?
Yes, ma'am, that's where we're headquartered out of.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of big companies out there that do this for a living,
Right.
and they're all over the state of Florida. I personally, I have my own business, Public Adjuster Services LLC out of Upton. What happened, I worked for FDEM, I didn't know insurance adjusting and how to do that, so I took a week off and I went to school. And after that, I started my own, and I worked for the Integrity Group because they're former FDLE and police officers here in Florida, and they do everything correct. And I really, really like that. Nothing illegal being done. Good guys. Any other questions?
I think we're good, yes, sir. Thank you very much for the information. All right, item 6D. I guess I'll read that. Discussion with possible council action recommendation from the Audit Selection Committee on selection of auditing firm and to authorize the city attorney to draft the resolution. And we have a packet here that, or actually just a sheet that shows recommendation.
you got a resident.
Mr. Sessions, you read that?
Yeah, I can read it. You read this for the record. City Live Oak received 3 bids for our Pt3 2024 professional auditor services. The lowest and most responsive bid was received from Ferguson Gray in the amount of $57,500. These bids were reviewed and scored by the Auditor Selection Committee. Matt Cham and Matt Campbell,
Yeah.
they messed that up. Jason Furry and Linda Owens. It is recommended to the City Council that we award the contract to Ferguson Gray for $57,500.
Annually.
Yes, annually, yes, sir.
Session annually,
Yes, sir.
and they will come in and personally do an audit, or they do things on the phone,
No,
email, what do they do?
they will come in and go over our books, just like everybody else has to.
And then make an annual report.
Right, just like we do our audit once a year, they'll make the report and come before the council and present the audit.
We've heard the recommendation from the Auditor Selection Committee and staff.
All motion that we approve recommendation.
We have a motion
Committee.
and a second. Any discussion, questions?
Mr. President, we're very familiar with all of the groups that have put in. They're all very fine accounting firms. Purvis and Gray does the auditing for several of our cities, so we've got a good audit.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, so we have a motion and a second. No further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? All right, RFP 06-2024 is approved. Purvis and Gray. All right, moving on to item number 6E. Mr. Sessions?
Yeah, this one is for the, make sure I get this right, there's 2 of these in here. The potable water line improvements. The City of Live Oak received 2 bids for ITB 03-2024 potable water improvements. The lowest bid was received from Worth Construction and Development Incorporated in the amount of $588,459.34. Worth Construction and Development Incorporated provided the necessary documents and provided project references with numerous local government clients. Worth Construction and Development Incorporated has also performed similar projects for the City of Live Oak in the past. The bids were reviewed and scored by J.L. Lee, our Public Works Director, Joanne Luther, Finance Director, and Lane Lucas, our engineering firm in Utah Incorporated. And having weighed all the factors, recommendation to the City Council from staff is to award the contract to work construction and development.
You've heard the recommendation from staff. What would be the pleasure of the council?
All the motion for ITD 03-2024.
Have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Discussion.
Yes. In detail, what would, Worth Construction be doing?
JL, let you go ahead and cover that.
Lewis and Taylor, Lincoln Law. There's a lot of
Turn the mic on.
sections.
There'd be several,
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Gerald Lee, Public Works Director for the City of Live Oak. We'll be replacing, upgrading water lines, Lewis, Taylor, and Long. No, that's,
Yeah, I'm sorry,
like I said, that's,
ringing bells.
yeah, we got too many on the agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
What happened?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, right. My.
Who's gonna speak?
I'm gonna make sure it's the right,
Ruby Main,
Ruby, Maine.
Ruby
and Lake.
Main,
The Ruby, Maine, and Lake.
and Lewis, Lincoln, and Taylor.
Lewis, Lincoln, and Taylor.
Yeah,
All of them
yeah,
was
sections.
included. There are different sections to complete the loops throughout the city and upgrading some small dilapidated lines to upgrade them to new lines.
Because it's half a million for 7 streets,
Yes, sir.
from one end to the other, or what?
Yeah, there's,
Are we getting the same thing we got a few years ago? Patch here, patch there, like they did the lining or whatever else, messed the road all tore up,
no,
something totally different.
something different. This is
Okay.
all drinking water, new drinking water lines. The potable lines, I think we're adding quite a few more hydrants in some of the areas and upgrading the old 2-inch lines to a 6-inch line to help with pressure also throughout that area.
And these were the worst areas, or how did they get targeted?
Some of the low flow areas where we have a lot of issues with the discoloration of the water. So that was some of the target areas, and it was identified several years before I started, that whenever we originally got the ARPA funds. It's been an ongoing process